Hey Stitches! It's me, Fairy Godfather, also known as Matthew. This is my YouTube channel, Fairy Godfather Knits, where I talk about knitting, design, and creativity. Specifically, this is my video series about this year's Stephen West or Westknits Geogradient MKAL 2023, the MCAL of drama and mystery. This is a sort of impromptu Clue 2 video. I've spent most of the past 3 days just knitting away on Clue 2 and I'm finished. So I wanted to make a little video about it at this point so that I can move on to Clue 3. I suppose I will now try to hold it up in frame. I feel like I am barely fitting in the frame for some reason, so I don't know how much luck I'm going to have with this. But everything is secure and it should be okay. So if you do not want to see a completed Clue 2, turn away now as I am about to show mine. So here, I'll do it maybe side by side. This is the first side. You can see I changed the color order a bit. I went A, C, A, C, B, D, B, D, and then the A, B, C, D gradient that he recommends. So this is the first side. There were the first, number of stitches that you work. And then on the other side, I decided to mix it up. And so I did CA, CA, DB, DB, and then ACBD, or ABCD, like the proper gradient at the end. So my two sides, you can see like the color combos are the same, but just in the opposite position, which again just gives the chance to see the texture in all the colors. If you do the original pattern way, only A and C ever get the eyelets, and only B and D ever get the, reverse stockinette bumpiness. And I wanted to play around with that. So, when you see the whole thing, it's a little busy. Like somebody said in the comments last time when I said I was thinking about doing something like this, they were worried that it would be too busy. And I understand, certainly for lots of people it would be. For myself, I am enjoying it. And I like the way it looks with the entrelac in the middle. So yeah, I am enjoying how this is going so far. A lot of people found Clue 2 boring, and while I absolutely respect their lived experience, I enjoyed it. The pattern got in my head fairly quickly with like the repeat, and it grows quickly, and it changes enough with those random purl rows that, not random, but with like in the eyelet rows, in the eyelet parts, you only have one purl row, and you have two, and in these parts you only have one. So like waiting for the purl row sort of kept me going forward, and then doing the purl row. Anyway, I found it sort of quick and meditative and easy and fun. So yeah, I am enjoying so far, and I am excited for Clue 3. The other thing, I guess I should say, the little mod I made. So as you know, if you've been watching my videos, I'm one of the people who is not a big fan of the Weavin Stephen. I love the Weavin Stephen in general. I love it as a punny little term. And I used it in some Stephen West patterns and super enjoyed it. Then I started doing it in my armored cardigan, which I was wearing last time, which is a garter stitch. And I found my fabric really warping. And I think maybe during this is also a Stephen West pattern. I'll put up the name because I forget exactly what it is right now. Some trellis, something, cable. Anyway, I'll put it here. It's a triangular shawl. And anyway, on one of these, I found when I was trying to do the Weavin Stephen with garter stitch that it was warping the fabric. There are a couple videos out of people talking about that. I will link it in the show notes. There's an alternative to the Weavin Stephen that is basically more like catching floats. That's what I now use, and that's what I was using on this. Because, yeah, I do get that personally, I get that fabric warp on the right side when I use the Weavin Steven. But I used a different method in this, which is called carrying your yarns in the I-cord, which I really don't know why Steven didn't like design it that way or plan for that, because I know he has videos about carrying colors in an I-cord. So all these four yarns are in this I-cord. And I don't think it looks particularly messy or bulky. You know, it's an I-cord that I am happy with anyway. And so you can see, like, you know, started with A, then that's where C got added, that's where D got added, and then I don't know. Oh, that must be there where B got added. And then I carried all four. And I carried all four to the end and to here. And I've done the same on the other side. This is why my yarns are currently attached. And then I realized that clue... Hi, sorry, I keep looking at a frame. I realized that clue 3 actually starts on the second section from clue 2, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to keep these attached. And I'm just going to keep going with clue 3. I'll speak for a second just about spoilers and so on. It's just so funny to me because it's the same Instagram account. So the first time when clue 1 came out, I think I mentioned in my clue 1 video, I went on Instagram and I immediately saw somebody who had posted the put the spoiler front page, splash page, whatever. I knew it was a spoiler, but because it was only a couple hours after the clue came out, I thought it was going to be just a cast on or you know, first few rows. And when I swiped, it was the completed clue. And I was like upset, but whatever. Second clue comes out, same Instagram account, does the same thing again. And I, fool that I am, just like swipe again. I think there were 2 spoiler screens this time. And then completed clue 2. And I was like, ugh, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Like, that was absolutely my fault. But I saw in the comments, someone else was like, wow, it's the completed clue. Like, what a spoiler. And the person whose account it was said, you know, very justly, she said, to my defense, I did put up 2 spoiler screens, including the spoiler screen that Steven asked us to use. And, you know, I absolutely took her point, but I also took the point of the person who was upset because I was upset because, you know, sometimes your thumb just moves faster than your mind. Sometimes wanting that dopamine hit happens faster than, like, the more abstract, less dopamine-rich value of not seeing spoilers. But also, it's just like I didn't expect it to be completed. Like, again, it was hours, if that, after the new clue had dropped. So, like, obviously this person was a test knitter, right? So again, like, instead of just being angry, I tried to think about, like, why would she do that? Like, why, mere hours after a new clue is posted, would she post her finished version of that clue? And then I just realized, because she's excited. She's just really excited. She's excited that she was a tester. She's excited to show people. So she's just every week waiting for the clue to drop so she can post her finished picture. And, like, that is completely valid. So when clue 3 then dropped, I was like, this time I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to swipe. And she had changed her own verbiage to say, completed clue 3, spoiler attached. So it's just funny how we have to, like, signal things to each other to try to respect each other's everything. You know what I mean? I think that's mostly all I have to say about clue 2. I am excited for clue 3. I was gonna try to do it pure mystery, but I've now seen it. It's just so hard to avoid spoilers, both to avoid exposure to them and then both to avoid actually swiping on them or actually, like, it's just hard. It's hard. You want to see it. Our impulses on all of these kinds of social media are to click through, swipe through, go to the next one, you know, so it's really hard to stop. So now that I've seen clue 3 a bit, And I know it continues this ABCD pattern in stripes. I'm again deciding how I want to screw with the colors. I think I might do one side in the ABCD order and the other side in the reverse, just so they're different. I've also thought, though, of like color blocking the Clue 3 section with the 4 colors, like just making it essentially 4 larger stripes rather than the repeated stripes. But I have to look at the pattern and look at a few more Clue 3 photos before I make up my mind, and I probably will just fly by the seat of my pants a little bit, which is sort of what I was doing with this. I'd originally intended just to do the 2 on the whole, on the whole one side. But anyway, I decided I just wanted to like even out my yarn usage and, like I said, even out which colors got the eyelets. So I'm happy with it. Like I'm really, yeah, enjoying it. And yes. Okay, I have a couple more things to say, but it is sort of about the whole controversy around the original Clue 1 and some of what's happened subsequently. So if you are a viewer who does not like to hear any criticism of Stephen West because you only think that we should support him, and if you just, don't like to hear any criticism of him or Westknits or the MCAL or anything, and if you are just tired of the whole thing, then I will say goodbye to you now, and I will see you next time in my Clue 3 video. But if you want to just hear a couple more things I have to say, sort of following up from Clue 1 and the drama there, then stay tuned for a few seconds of saltiness before I say goodbye to you as well. Hi. So for those of you who have stayed around for my salty opinions, this is just about the Clue videos that Stephen West / Westknits are putting out every week for this. And so as you know, if you watch my Clue 1 video, I was sort of trying to talk about feeling sensitive to sort of like authoritarianism and this sort of authoritarian direction that the MCAL took after its pivot, and the sort of censorship on the Ravelry groups. And some of you commented and said that you don't feel that. So like some people say Stephen West has the right to do that. I 100% agree. It is his design. It is his company. He has the right to do it. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm saying it hurts when he does it to me. I understand why people are upset, and I understand why people reacted the way they do. Some people commented and said that they don't feel that that is censorship. That is your personal opinion. To me, the deletion of photos, the taking down of posts, the intense moderation, and the warning that your photo may be taken down. I will try to put up the verbiage if I can have it here, because it says something like, even photos that bear no resemblance to the original Clue may be taken down. They're essentially saying anything that is any way reminiscent or evocative of the original Clue 1 will be taken down. Again, that's like within their rights, and it's being done for good, valid reasons that I understand and support. I'm simply saying that it makes it an unwelcoming environment for me, and it makes me feel scared and upset in certain ways, okay? So that was all fine, and I was happy to just leave all that behind me. But then the Clue 2 video came out, and there was a little introduction at the beginning from Stephen, and he said that he had tried to crop out the original symbol as much as he could, but that it was just essentially, otherwise the video was unchanged. He just recorded a little intro to it. Also, when the Clue 2 pattern came out, it has pages and pages of frequently asked questions and discussions of the whole issue, including a reiteration that the MCAL has pivoted, the MCAL has gone in a new direction. The original Clue 1 is not considered a Westknit. It is not considered part of the MCAL in any way. Like, it is a very clear, very fulsome, very complete, like, rejection of the original Clue in all of its forms. Which is what makes it so shocking to me that it then continues to be in every video that they're putting out. So, like, this is being talked about a little bit. I'm sure some people are going to jump to Steven's defense and say either that he didn't have time or that he didn't have, like, that it costs money to make videos and yada, yada, yada. And that's why I was, like, sort of willing to give Clue 2 a pass, because there hadn't been that much time, because, again, he didn't pause. He didn't push the MCAL back a week. He didn't give any time to adjust. It was like, we're steamrolling forward. We're going forward at the original pace. And it was just like, catch up or be left behind. But I guess not for him. Like I'm just finding it, I literally don't understand. Like, it boggles my mind. Like, how can you be saying that this original Clue is no longer, you're not considering it your design, you're not considering it your Clue, it's no longer part of the MCAL, but you're going to continue week by week to put out videos in which it is featured? I understand why people are upset about this. I understand people saying this is hypocritical. It actually makes me really angry the more I think about it. So I'm just choosing not to think about it other than in this brief section of this video. So, like, this is where my thing kind of shifts. Like, I support Steven. I don't know Steven at all as a person, but this is a business and he's running this as a business person. So, like, and he makes a lot of money. If you look at what this pattern costs, just the MCAL pattern, and if you look at how many people have bought it, even just from, I don't know, who has it in their project on Ravelry or the number of YouTube videos about it. I have no idea what the actual number is of sales of this pattern. I don't know if you can see that on Ravelry or whatever, but just do some simple math and see how much money he made on this pattern alone. And, like, for me, it is several times more than my yearly salary. And it's just one pattern out of everything that Westknits does. So all I'm saying is, he doesn't, like, I know I heard, I don't know. I've seen YouTubers who asked for their money back. I've seen other YouTubers saying that Steven West did offer to give some people their money back. I don't know how all of that worked. So I understand he may have lost on, like, having to return to some people. But either way, like, none of that matters to me, because, like, at that level, with the amount of money that Westknits makes and the level of company that Westknits is, to me, you just unquestionably, absolutely should have been making new videos. I don't care what it costs, how much time it took, if you had to hire a videographer and an editor and a studio. That's what should have been done to match the tone and what was done to regular knitters at home through the pivot. So, like, if we're going to pivot and go in a new direction, we all need to pivot. You know what happened to my first one? I frogged it because Steven asked me to. He made a plea asking me to frog it, to not worry about the time, not worry about the time I had put in it, not worry about the cost of yarn, not worry about other things, to think about empathy and compassion and to pivot and to go in a new direction. And I did. And so did a lot of other people. I think Steven West has his bare minimum of responsibility is to do the same. And unfortunately, as the designer and head of this company, that is to knit a new shawl and make a new video and put out new clues. Like, I just really, really do think that this was, like, a lazy move. Like, it just really sours the whole thing. I don't think that anything he said in his apology was disingenuous. I don't think any of his upset was disingenuous. I think his, love and empathy for the people who were hurt by the original design is clear. But I think there's a real lack of follow-through and a real sort of letting Westknits off the hook by not redoing the video. The Clue 2 video is 33 minutes. So I understand, like, he would have needed new squares to start. But like, I had assumed that there were, like, sample knitters and test knitters. There are test knitters who put out new versions, like, new photos and new clue, and who, like, redid theirs. There are all kinds of people who showed how you could, like, cut and graft. There are all kinds of options. To me, there's no excuse for putting out those old videos with the old original shawl in them. I just think it is hypocritical and lazy. Thus endeth the rant. Thank you for sticking with me. Let me know in the comments whether you agree or disagree. And like and subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see you next time for Clue 3 video. And I should be all caught up to everybody for the final Clue 4, which I'm very excited for. Thank you so much for watching. Have great days and happy knitting. Bye.